Hey, what's up, everybody? It's America's Credit and Finance Drill Sergeant, otherwise known as the Rough Rev, and King Bay. Hey, I'm here coming to you live and direct from the studio with another banger for you. The last time we talked a lot about recycling. I want to talk about a couple things today, real quick. This is just a quick hit, just to kind of whet your appetite. I want to inspire and motivate you, but also want to educate you. All right. The last time we talked about the concept of recycling your money, using the same money 2 and 3 times, right? When you get in financial crisis, financial difficulty, like a pandemic, a difficult financial time, you have to learn to be creative. A lot of what people really need to know about money, they never learned in school. As a 19-year-old kid, I was thrust into it when they merged my credit file with my dad's credit file. I had $300,000 on my name at the age of 19. Excuse me, I had to figure all this out. I didn't even in college, I didn't learn any of this in college. I had to learn it by trial and error, by studying the law, by researching law libraries, Black's Law books, finance books, credit, and eventually I became an expert at it as a result of my research. So I'm saying to you now that what I'm talking to you about today, they probably don't teach you in school. You can go all the way up to our educational max of a PhD degree, master's and a PhD degree, and never learn what you need to know about money. So I'm going to drop some science on you today. The first thing I want to talk about is a concept called velocity banking. I mentioned it the other day in our last video when I talked about the fact that when you have a lump sum of money, say you have $2,000, but you have $3,000 worth of bills, right? And you're stressed because there's no way you can pay all of this. You have to learn to chunk a lot of that money onto your 0% or low percent interest credit cards, right? And you look at those report dates, and then you time it so that you make that payment just before that particular card reports. And it looks like you have a lower zero balance. And then 2 or 3 days later, you turn around and you use it to pay all these other bills. Now, what just happened? Sometimes you can use it to pay bills that have interest. If you're using a 0% interest credit card, you just eliminated 13, 14% interest. And you use the same money 2 or 3 times. And in the credit system, it looks like you always have a low balance on that credit card because you always pay that thing down or pay it off right before that card reports. Not going to go into it real heavy because I went into it real deep the last time. The other thing I want to talk to you about is how wealthy people use cash value life insurance policies like a bank. Here again, something you need to know. Money people, every bank, every mortgage company, every major corporation has cash value life insurance. Isn't that interesting? That Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, they all have cash value life insurance policies. Why? Because they're not tax deferred, they're tax deductible. So you put money in there and you pay no taxes on it. So what they do is they deposit large sums of money in these cash value, usually whole life insurance policies, right? And then they take a no interest loan on that policy. What just happened? I just took $1 million, dumped it in this policy. Instead of receiving it personally, I sent it to this cash value life insurance policy. What happened? I just saved myself $400,000 that at a higher tax bracket, I would have probably paid in taxes. The IRS would have hit me for that. It's a legal laundromat. They put money in and then they take a 0% interest loan on that. If they took $500,000 on it, they still got $500,000 face value on that policy. Now remember, these people are using this not for real life insurance. They're using it for financial strategy. They'll put money in there and just leave it and let it sit. And oh, by the way, did I mention that a lot of these cash value life insurance policies have a guaranteed return of 6 to 8%? Where you gonna find that today when your bank is paying you 0.00001%? So I'm saying to you that these are things that we need to know about, and we need to research. It's so much that I can't put it into a 10 or 12 minute video. But I want you to realize that at the end of the day, it is very possible. I want you to realize that at the end of the day, it is very possible for you to facilitate your life in such a way that you do it intelligently and you do things in such a way that it begins to work for you. versus working against you. Now, part of the problem is a lot of the monetary policies that we have and the systems that we use today, they don't work in our favor. They don't work in our favor. And the reality is that until we learn to do things that are going to benefit us, we're always going to be financially behind the gun playing catch up. And my thing is, if there's a more intelligent way of doing something, then by all means, I say do it. So all I'm doing is offering you intelligent options to the bullshit. Or we can go back to business as usual. Now, a great man said, if you always do what you've always done, then you always have what you have right now. The only way to change your results is to change your actions. Somebody else said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. No, you got to change. We got to shift. And see, we're in a time right now where the pandemic has really done us a favor because it's forcing many of us to shift when we're not really comfortable with shifting. It's forcing many of us to change. It's forcing many of us to adapt new mindsets, a new way of thinking, survival, because we can't go to that job that we loved and we worship so much. I've been saying it for 2 years. Online, self-employed, entrepreneurship. People have been looking at me like I'm crazy. Now they're like, hey, he must have had a crystal ball. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you real quick about is developing business credit. Let me tell you something. If you don't have time to research this and begin to get the basics of it, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Because the whole thing with personal credit, the FICO 10, the new FICO 10 is basically effectively shut millions of people out of the market now. Now that your FICO score is not just going to be based on how you pay your bills. See, before people got by with just paying their bills on time and keeping an itty-bitty little bit of money in the bank, right? But now the FICO 10 model evaluates how much money, what's your recurring daily balance? And excuse me, I had a buddy that called me. He was upset because his credit score dropped, and I paid everything. I said, man, FICO 10, dog. I said, FICO 10, how much money you got in the bank? He said, yeah, I thought about, when I got those two credit cards, those 3 credit cards, I was running all this money through my bank account for some of the contracts that I had, the construction jobs that I had, yada, yada, yada. I said, exactly. I said, so for many people who there's no way they're ever going to run $10,000, $20,000 a month through their account, they hit. FICO 10 is shutting you out. But business credit is a way of duplicating yourself, but on steroids. Like creating another entity. The law says that a business is a person. It's another entity. Doesn't have a social security number, but has a tax ID number. Different address, different phone number. If you learn the basics of building business credit, you have effectively given yourself a second credit file, a second lease on life. And the way business credit rolls, they break you off starting with 15, 20,000, right? They don't start with the 500, 3,000, 5,000 the way personal credit does. These are things we need to know. I mean, absolutely positively. Like I said, this is a quick hit. I'm just giving you I'm trying to give you some motivation, some inspiration, because at the end of the day, I woke up out of this dream I had, and I was explaining to somebody about being in the right state of mind, and I almost bust out crying. Because I thought about years and years and years ago as a kid, how many people told me I would never make it because I was a slow learner with a speech impediment. I couldn't talk properly. I was shy. I was overweight. I was a slow learner. And I had all these people telling me what I couldn't fucking do instead of telling me one good reason why I could. But I had a mother and a grandmother, God bless them women, that taught me about faith, that you could do all things through Christ, that said, no matter what's against you, you put your mind, your heart to it, God will work with you, baby. I built my life on 2 scriptures. They said I never go to college. They said I never do all these things. And I thought about the fact, what if I allowed myself to stay in that limited frame of references, listening to those haters? What if I had listened to those people? I would have never went to college. I went to a predominantly white school, Seton Hall University. I didn't graduate at the top of my class, but I made it through. The B's and C's I got, if I was at an HBCU, I'd have probably got straight A's because they curve on the slant too. in those predominantly white schools. Believe it, it happens. The bottom line is I graduated. Then I went and worked on Wall Street. Then I went to Virginia and went in the Marine Corps. Graduated. Brigadier General salutes me. Welcome to the Corps, son. My mother pins my first set of lieutenant bars on me. And when I woke up out of this dream, I almost bust out crying because I thought about, what if I had listened to these people? I would have never did nothing. I would have never I would have never even tried to stretch myself. So I'm saying to you, fuck these haters. You got haters in your family. You got haters on your job. You got haters in your church. Your pastor might be a hater. Fuck that bastard. Whatever you have in your heart to do, figure out a plan. Get the information. Take 3 to 5 years to study. If you take 3 to 5 years to study something and really dissect it and look at it from all different directions and ask God's Spirit to reveal the secrets of that thing to you, you will become in the top 2% of people in the world, not in the nation, in the world. I'm one of the top 2% money and finance and credit guys in the world. The only cat that I will give props and salute him that say he know more than me about credit is Corey P. Smith. The rest of y'all, get in the line behind us, nigga, because we them cats. And he paid his dues just like I did, learning it from the ground up, not learning it in school, not learning it from reading books. Learning it, going to court, and filing lawsuits against major corporations, and filing lawsuits against law firms, and filing lawsuits against the credit bureaus, and learning the credit law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Telephone Consumer. Like Corey P. Smith is a beast. I salute him. He got me. The rest of y'all, get in line behind us, because we them dudes. But it came through years of study. So I'm saying to you, whatever it is that you want to really master, study that thing. Fuck the reality TV shows. People spend hours and hours and hours doing nothing on the internet. I know when the pandemic first hit, they said Netflix server almost shut down because so many people was just sitting home watching TV. This is an opportunity to learn a new language, learn a new skill, get your money up, get your weight up. Don't you want to be free, or you want business as usual? You want to be a slave. See, what you don't understand right now, what's happening right now, baby girl, boy, you need to understand that if you don't choose to begin to set yourself free, you will by default be a slave. The FEMA trucks are coming. The forced vaccinations are coming. Do you know the law? Do you know the law that says a religious objection, you can't make me do anything if it's against my religious belief? Y'all better learn this. Understand something. Excuse me. If you don't choose freedom right now, you are choosing slavery by default. You and your children and their children will be fertilizer for the planet. Hey, look, that's why they call me the Rough Rev, because I'm going to give it to you straight up. Spend 3 to 5 years, become an expert at something, master that thing, and then put your spin on it and go and move out. Don't just from your lack of belief in yourself and listening to the haters choose slavery and then enslave your children. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Anyway, real quick, talked about recycling money. We talked about study, dedicating yourself to something, to become a master at it, right? If you change your mind, you change your whole life. Real quick, though, I got to talk about this mortgage because everybody's talking about real estate. And I give props to all the people that are out there promoting real estate, Tony the Closer, and people like that. Hey, man, do your thing. But the thing is, once you acquire the real estate and you get the wealth, what do you do with it? If you don't have the right mind state, you'll piss that money away, or that money may destroy you, or you may not know how to manage it. So real quick, I'm going to give you a real quick, brief thing that could save you probably $40,000, $50,000, maybe $100,000 off your mortgage. This is a little mini amortization schedule. When you buy a piece of real estate, right? First thing you need to do, the day you go to closing, send in that first payment. That's crazy. Why would I do that? We just spent at closing. We had I hear y'all sound like Charlie Brown's parents. Shut the hell up and listen and learn something for a minute. When you make payments toward the principal before the interest has accrued, all of that money goes toward the principal. And none of it goes toward paying the interest. Why is that important? Because right here in this example, you'll see if you have $1,000 mortgage payment, this is the interest side of the amortization schedule. This is the principal side of the amortization schedule. What they do is they front end load all of the interest on the front end of the loan. They load all the interest. So they get all this interest up front, and then they just get 23 years of extra payments because the average house is paid off in 7 to 7.5, 7.8 years. The rest of it is like 22 and a half years of interest of just payments you paying the mortgage company like 3 times for a house. So I'm saying to you, the way that schedules are set up is they put all the interest on the front end. And this first payment, that $1,000 payment, and this is just an example, $999 goes toward interest, but only $1 goes toward principal. And then the next payment, $998.50 goes toward interest, and $1.50 goes toward principal. And it goes all the way through the mortgage like this. Now, out of this $1,000, your hard-earned money you paid, $999 goes toward interest. Then it's $998. Then it's $998.50. Then it's $997.50. And then it goes to $2 and $2.50. But the amount that goes to principals, it's such small increments that you never actually paying down the loan. So the way you can jumpstart yourself and hyperspace yourself through the loan is that first payment before you even get to that 30th day. The day you go to closing, send in that first payment, put a little paragraph, 1 paragraph statement with it saying, this payment to be applied to principal only. Do not escrow. Because a lot of times you make an extra payment, they'll just escrow and send you a letter. Oh, you have X number of dollars in escrow at the end of the year. Congratulations. No, that didn't help me. But how does that making that one payment affect you, right? You see this? $1, $1.50, $2, $2.50, $3, $3.50. When you make that one extra payment toward principal, guess what you just did? All of that money goes down the principal side of this equation. And then what happens, because you've made the principal payment before the interest has accrued, guess what happens to these payments? All of these payments get eliminated. So a one-time $1,000 payment will go all the way down the principal side of this equation. And according to the way this is running, it might take you 3 or 4 years into your loan. Maybe 5 years into your loan. Because all of that money goes toward principal and you eliminated paying these interests, but it also hyperspace you into your loan. So with one $1,000 payment, you just took 3 to 5, maybe 6 years off of your mortgage. You just turned a 30-year mortgage into a 26-year mortgage. Oh man, this is some gangster shit I'm telling you right now. I'm putting so much money in your pocket right now. Y'all need to send me a check for real. For real, nigga. And guess what? This is stuff I was doing 25 years ago. This was my first business, showing people in the state of Maryland when I got out the Marine Corps, showing people how to pay off their mortgages. I did one for a guy that was building me a computer. The computer's supposed to cost me $600 or $800. When I went to pick up my computer, he said, man, your money's no good here. I was like, what do you mean? You built me a computer? He said, no, man. He said, that payoff program that you did for me on my mortgage, he said, it's going to save me $143,000 and it's going to allow me to pay off a 30-year loan in 8 years. He said, nigga, your computer's free. I was like, well, God bless America. Because that knowledge is so powerful. So I'm saying to you, if you do that one payment, you'll take 5 or 6 years off your payment. But then don't get lazy. Every year, when you get your income tax or you get a big chunk, send in a payment. This payment to be designated for principal only. Apply it toward my principal. Do not escrow. And then every time you do that, you eliminate all these high interest payments and you hyperspace yourself through your mortgage. Next thing you know, you've taken a 30-year mortgage and you've paid it off in 7 years, nigga. 7 years. This is a biblical principle. 7 years, the year of Jubilee. Every 7 years, all debt was wiped out. Now the modern man, they want to hold debt over your head forever. Then the collection agencies come after you. Then another collection, and then a law firm. But in the biblical times, all debt was wiped out. Well, my thing is, number 7, none of this shit should take more than 7 years. They got car loans now. BMW and Mercedes got car loans now that are 10 or 12 years. Man, look, the house, the mortgage should be no more than 7 years. Cars, you should pay them off in 2 or 3. This is why if you want to save money, if you pay it by their plan, you'll be forever a slave. Anyway, I done said too much. I got fired up. I started thinking about my life and thinking about if I had listened to these fools who told me I'd never make it because I was stupid and I was slow. And I'm trying to motivate and inspire you. Many people have told you you can't. Oh, you got kids and you got this and you're not smart. You ain't been to college and you blah, 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 blah. Shut the hell up. Make a decision what it is you want to do. Study that thing. Master that thing. Even some of y'all, if you study for 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, if you're really diligent, you'll run right past people that have been doing it 20 years. I've met people in real estate and mortgage, but I've been doing this 25 years. Oh, yeah, but you've been doing it 24 years. Wrong. This is some new and improved shit. Have you read the recent law? Do you know the most recent transactions? Look, I keep my weight up because I keep my knowledge up. So I'm saying to you, Velocity Banking, cash value life insurance, business credit. FICO 10 has effectively shut many of y'all out. You need to get up on this business credit thing. Like for real, for real. Just got a guy $60,000 line. Brand new business with business credit. $60,000, 0% interest for the first 12 months on all the lines. I'm just saying, bam, bam, I'm that dude. You don't know? Like the Spanish boy said, you don't know? Check it out. SA, check it out. Anyway, it's America's Credit and Finance Drill Sergeant. Look, giving you love, trying to give you some motivation, trying to give you some inspiration. The next session, I want to talk about cars and how to buy a car. Most people don't even know how to buy a car. I want to talk about the basics of auto buying and how maybe sometime buying a used car or a car that needs a little bit of repair and fixing it up might be the move because then you got no payment. I got a BMW in the yard right now that I bought for $1,300. A 2004 530i. Midnight blue with tan interior. Power everything. $1,300. Book value, I think, is about $5,800 because it needed a little work. I'm not quite done with it, but I'm probably going to be at $1,600, $1,700 and it'll be rolling. And what am I rolling on? $5,000 worth of equity if I decided to sell it? See, most of y'all, you're pissing your financial freedom away by constantly financing cars, constantly paying too much interest, then not knowing how to pay your bills, using Velocity Banking, recycling the same money. Like, I'm about to catch up. I'm about to get the Holy Ghost in here. I'm about to take up collection for myself because I'm preaching, nigga. Can you say amen? Anyway, it's America's Credit and Finance Drill Sergeant signing off. Hey, remember what I told you. If you don't make a move on life, life is getting ready to make a move on you, and you may not like what it does, nigga. You better be ready. You better be ready to shoot that jab. Look. Anyway, love y'all. I see you on the next one. Y'all know it was a banger. Peace.